Everything that buyers want on a second floor, this plan has it. There's a game room, media room, second game room, 3 bedrooms, and they even have this desk area in the middle of all of it. Stick around for this one. Hey everyone, Raj Sahu here, realtor in Central Texas, back with another model home walkthrough. Today we're going through the St. Charles 2 plan with CoventryHomes. This plan is over 4,300 square feet. It has 5 bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms, has a 3-car garage, and this is a great 2-story plan that I think is a bit unique from what we've seen previously. You'll see that on the second floor where it has a very unique layout, lots of square footage, and then as you can tell here, open to the second story when you first walk in. It is also open to the second story in the living room, which we're going to head right out to and focus in on this main living area and the kitchen, and then we'll get to the other areas in the home. Starting off with this main living area and the kitchen, I think this is a bit of a unique layout. A lot of kitchens now are open with a huge island. This kitchen is tucked into the back left of the home, a little bit more private, but you still get this living room area right off of that kitchen that is wide open with very high ceilings. We have open to the second story. I love the windows in the back wall, a lot of natural light coming in here. We'll get back out to this living room in a second, but I want to show this kitchen first. Now, we're passing through this breakfast area. I say breakfast area because there is a separate dining room that we walked past that I'll show in a second. But I want to show the kitchen right away because, again, I think this is the unique part. I mentioned it's a little bit more private. It is relative to other plans. You're still wide open to this breakfast nook area, the patio if you do sliding glass doors, and then that living room that you saw. So it's still open concept, but maybe not as much in this area compared to other plans that we've seen previously. Now for the kitchen island, of course you can't have a massive island when you're in this back area, but you can move the sink off of that kitchen island, which we'll see in a second. This is going to be that entrance, a separate entrance to the dining room, which we'll get to in a minute. And then here is a look at the pantry space. And after we get out of this pantry, you'll see a good look at this entire room, kitchen, breakfast area, and that living room in the back, where if you can kind of imagine yourself in your kitchen, a little bit more private, but still very open. And this is what I mean. You can even see up into the second story right from your kitchen island. And while I'm at this kitchen island, it makes me think of a lot of people that don't want their sink in the kitchen island. They always want it off of it. This is the way to do it. This way you need a little bit more room on the exterior cabinets to obviously fit a stove and a vent on this side, and then another side to have the kitchen sink, which we see here where they have this nice apron sink, and then I like this window right above the sink that goes right out to your backyard, which I think is very cool when you have patio space that looks like this. Overall, I would say this gives me a little bit more of a traditional feel. Now, some of that is the plan where you walk in from the front door and you enter the living room kind of at a diagonal. There's not much in straight lines. Kitchen's kind of tucked in the back like we keep talking about. But it's also the design. Like, look at the chairs. There's more curves in the chair. That couch in front of us has some more curves. There's definitely a design element that also makes this traditional. And so my point is, if you're not a fan of traditional, but you like this plan because of the square footage, because it's open, you can certainly add a modern taste in design. And I promise you that will make things look very different from what you're seeing here. Like even the chairs outside here, you see the curves that they're using on the arm. They really leaned in on this traditional taste, which is great if you like traditional, but if you don't, again, there's definitely things you can do from a design standpoint to make this home feel much different. Okay, getting back to the plan, check out this outdoor space. I love this outdoor space for a few reasons. The pitch ceiling really adds a great touch, makes this space feel much bigger. I like that they brought down some stucco to put a TV, fireplace, so a great for, watching a ball game back here and enjoying your backyard. But I think most importantly, a lot of people that are planning their backyard space, maybe thinking about putting in a pool, I like how this plan puts the patio off to one side. Oftentimes when I see the pool right down the middle, it leaves a little bit of grass on one side, a little bit of grass on the other, but you don't really get to enjoy then your yard space. Obviously this is a corner lot. It's very deep, so you'd still have plenty of space, I'm sure, if you put in a pool. Point is though, if the patio is off to one side, you can put the pool on the other, and then you still have a lot of space to enjoy your backyard. Like you can still have this big patio space with a big pool right next to it. Okay, heading back into the home, when we open these sliding glass doors, I should have mentioned it before, this breakfast area that they have a 6-seater table in, you don't necessarily have to do that. I felt like if you took that table out, it didn't feel like it would just be like an empty space there. It is a bit redundant, and that's what I've heard from other buyers because there is a separate dining area. But if you can imagine, you're having a party here, a lot of people in the living room, going into the kitchen, and then that outdoor area. If that table is removed, I think you'll have a lot more in space to enjoy, unless you really value having 2 dining tables. Either way, you get this wide open living room area, which I think is fantastic. I love what they did here with the fireplace design, with all these great windows off of it. While we look at this fireplace, I do want to mention it is a bit of a pet peeve of mine when we cut out windows in the back wall to get this fireplace here. But what I'm seeing online, I think they actually kept the same amount of windows they usually would have, just because there is a bit of room in the corner there, which I think is the first thing you notice when you walk into this living room is that fireplace design, and then everything opens up with that breakfast area, kitchen, and of course these tall ceilings that really make this living room feel very grand. From here, let's head over to the owner's bedroom and bathroom, and then we will cover the rest of the first story after this, where there's a dining room, a study, powder bathroom downstairs, and then again, that second floor is very unique. There's actually 2 different game room areas, there's a media room, a lot of space up there. But first, we're gonna show this owner's bedroom. The first thing I noticed in here are the unique windows in the back wall. I like when builders do different touches like this, where it's not always just like the standard windows everywhere. It makes it feel a little bit more custom. And of course, we have those tall ceilings and then this enormous backyard that you look out to right from your owner's bedroom. And I think both combined make this space feel much bigger than it actually is. Now, I do wish builders did more in the backyard and put in pools and things like that, but what they've always told me is the liability is too much. They can't just open these homes to the public and have a pool back there. And then obviously the cost of putting in a pool and maintaining it when nobody's actually enjoying it may not make sense. So the solution, because I do want to show great backyards, I have a lot of viewers that say they love seeing backyards. I'm going to show more resales that have fantastic backyards and infinity pools. So look for that coming soon here. Getting back to the plan, we are in the owner's bathroom. I like part of this wall is a bit of an accent wall. You do see it right away when you first walk in. But I like when you get into this walk-in shower, it's still very open to the other parts of the owner's bathroom. You get that large window there, which by the way, you can frost these aftermarket. It's just a lot of the model homes, they just keep open because nobody's showering in here for now. And then when you do walk in to the owner's bathroom on the right side, we do have this entrance into your laundry, which we will get back into from around the corner so you have an idea of kind of where everything else is. But we'll stick in the owner's bathroom for now. We just have a linen closet here, and then on the other side of all these vanities and tub is going to be your commode and the owner's closet. I like how with Coventry in so many different areas they fit windows everywhere. Actually, one of my clients who bought with Coventry recently, I took a picture of one of their plans on the side of the home, and the entire side was just windows everywhere. And this is what I was describing to my client is a lot of builders, especially on the sides of the homes, they'll really skimp on windows because obviously windows come with a cost. But for their model homes, they'll put lighting everywhere. So you may not notice that there isn't as much natural light coming in because they just put lights everywhere to keep it light and bright. And I always tell people, hey, turn off the lights if you're in a model home during the day and see what comes in. It really makes a difference when you have all these windows everywhere. And when builders skimp on them, you may not notice that in their model home. Okay, we're gonna head over to the rest of the first story here, where I'll show you the powder bathroom, that laundry, dining area, and then we'll get up to the second floor. While we head over there, I do want to mention that we're touring this specific model home in a community called Blackhawk. It's located in Pflugerville, Texas, which is a suburb just northeast of Austin. And what I like about this area is the location. It's close to the domain. You can get quick access to the airport. But I think the best part about Coventry is even if you like this plan, but maybe don't want to be in Pflugerville, you want to be in an area with like rolling hills, they offer this in a community in Lago Vista, which has gorgeous rolling hills. Actually, I have a couple clients under contract there that have views out their backyard that look out for miles and looks amazing. Or if you want to be a little bit closer in, there's a community in West Georgetown that's called Parkside on the river, and this plan is also offered there. And there's some topography there. It's close to a lot of the growth that's in that Leander Cedar Park corridor. And so the point is, no matter what you're looking for in an area, the best part about Coventry is they are building in a lot of parts around Austin as well as other cities. So you can take some of these plans and build them in a lot of different locations. Getting back to the plan here, so we just saw the powder bathroom. That door in front of us would be access to your garage. This is just a coat closet so that when you come in, you can put your shoes in this area, as well as hang up your coat, which is pretty rare in Texas, but there are maybe a couple months out of the year you might need a coat or something. And then this is going to be that laundry area that we saw from the owner's bathroom, so I'll show you that in a second, where you can access the owner's bathroom so you don't have to lug your laundry around your house. You can just use that doorway to get in. And then you do see some plumbing for a washer and dryer, as well as some cabinetry here. One thing to note while we go through this is double check all the upgrades that are in here. These do change over time, so sometimes like this doorway is actually a structural upgrade. Obviously the cabinets and design elements that you're seeing throughout the home, there are going to be a lot of different upgrades that are here. So don't think that these are just typical in every inventory home that's there or can be within your budget. It's really important to crunch the numbers before you make a buying decision on any of these new build homes. Don't use a model home as a way of stating that that's what you can get within your budget. Oftentimes these are well beyond what average homeowners do. Now, this is going to be that separate dining area, and this is why I mentioned I like this dining area. If you like formal dining and you want to keep this separate, then I think it does make sense to have that separate table in the breakfast nook area. But I've had a lot of buyers walk through this and say, well, I would like to take that table out and just have more space around there, especially with that sliding glass door there, where you have a little bit more room to walk around, or in the morning when everybody's getting ready, kind of going in and out of the kitchen. It's nice to keep that area open. So I see both ways of doing it, but it's nice to have that option to kind of use one space for dining or both spaces for dining in a breakfast nook area. Okay, now we're back at the front door. You have that plant shelf above the front door, which I think is nice. It really draws your eyes upward when you go back to your front door, maybe with guests. And then this is your second bedroom downstairs. What I like about this is it's private from the other areas of the home, like that main living area and the kitchen, and it does have an in-suite full bathroom in here. So if you have somebody staying with you, and I say it often, like parents staying with you for maybe weeks at a time, and you want them to kind of have their own space, have their own bathroom, it's nice to have this second bedroom downstairs without compromising on another area. And what I mean by that is, with some plans, you have to upgrade the garage space. So it'll be like a 3-car garage, but you have to take out a bay and use that to upgrade with this bedroom full bathroom combination. And obviously there's a cost to do that. So sometimes you see the base price, and that base price gets blown up with all these upgrades that you have to do. What I like about this plan is currently what I'm seeing online is this bedroom full bathroom is already included in the base plan, and you still have a 3-car garage without having to upgrade that garage space to get this bedroom. Now that could change over time. I don't see how that could change, being that this bedroom's on one side and the 3-car garage is actually on the other side of the home, but always double check everything that I'm stating. I think this is a good time to say that this is why I like new construction. There's usually not as much compromise as there would be on the resale market. You can really pick the plan that makes sense for you. So what I'm getting to here as we approach this study is that if you like plans where on your first floor you really value 2 bedrooms downstairs, 2.5 bathrooms, you have a powder bath separate from a full bathroom for maybe a guest or family member staying with you on the first floor, and you maybe work from home or you need an area to work at, and you still need the separate dining area. These are a lot of different rooms to have on a first story. So what I find is some people have to compromise either a dining or a study, or again, like I mentioned before, a second bedroom downstairs compared to a 3-car garage. In this plan, they currently have all of those while still having a lot of square footage on the second story, which is where we're going to head to next. While we're heading upstairs, I do want to mention what we're talking about compromise. The second story is also something that I don't see a whole lot of compromise in. What people normally have to do is, if they want a game room that's open to the rest of the home, they end up having maybe like a smaller media room, or they, instead of having 3 bedrooms, which they want, they have to go down to 2 bedrooms. Or the big one, I think, is if they want a kids play area, but then they want another game room to have like a pool table or a ping pong table or something fun, they can't have both. In this second story, you have all of the above, where you have this huge game room that looks out to the living room, so it's very open. Like we showed before, it's also open when you first walk in the front door. And on top of all that, you still get this very large game room where you're about to see some furniture, a poker table on the side, where it's kind of showing that this can be that game room that I think a lot of people want. I've actually had somebody walk this plan and they imagined having like a pool table, and we're taking measurements out for that, where you could still fit maybe some furniture on the side here. But they had kids, and so they asked themselves, well, where would our kids play if we have a pool table here? And the answer is there is a separate children's retreat area that we'll get to in a couple minutes. And then they also said, well, we want a media room, so we want an area where you can kind of close in a TV, so if somebody's watching a ball game, or they're doing some gaming, or the kids are watching like a movie or something like that, how do we enclose that space? And that's what we'll get to next. This St. Charles 2 plan has a media room on the other side of the stairwell that is enclosed. There's also some bedrooms that we'll get to here, a desk area. So we'll get to all this square footage that I've continued to talk about throughout this video. But take a look at this media room. So I think the layout here is interesting, where they have the bar in the back and like a wet bar area. So it does change around the furniture. If you didn't value that and took that out, I think you could pretty easily fit those back-to-back, couches, so that if you wanted like 2 rows of seating, this media room feels like it has enough room for it. Or you could do it exactly what's shown here, where I'll take a seat. I think you're still far enough away from the TV where you can have a good experience here while still having a bar. They have a dishwasher here, some cabinetry, a microwave for some popcorn, and even some bar seating back here, which I think is a great touch. And you can really make this space yours. If you want to make it into a theater room, I think it'd be pretty easy to black out those trends and windows. Like we talked about before, if you wanted to take out this cabinetry, you would have a little bit more room for furniture. So a lot of different things that you can do here. And let's go take a seat on that couch so you can get like the full experience here. Now, maybe not the full experience. That TV is fake, so I think you could fit a much bigger TV on that wall, especially with the length that you have in this room. But still gives you an idea. Like, I think you're pretty good distance away from that, even if you did that bar top area. So I really like this part of the second story, that big game room and the media room off of it. And then, like I mentioned earlier, we have open to the second story. So if you recall that area that you could see from the kitchen island all the way up to the second story, that was this area, which I think is great. Sometimes I feel people, when they're not in a house that's open concept, they feel like it's just too private. You got to run around to kind of yell at a family member and say, hey, dinner's ready or something like that. And people always say they hate doing that in their home right now. They need to have something that's open concept. And so they look for these things where, everything is, open, but still private from each other. And that's what I often say in these videos. I like touring plans that have both. There's a lot of privacy in these various rooms, but everything still feels very connected to each other. This would be a full bathroom that is accessible from the hallway. And then this is one of 3 bedrooms upstairs. So there were 2 bedrooms down, 3 bedrooms upstairs. And this bedroom is a little bit more private from everything else, where it's right off of that media room area. And then you'll see that second game room, or what they're calling a children's retreat on their website. There are going to be a couple bedrooms off of that. And that's why I mentioned unique layout here, where even before that second game room area, they have what's called a data area. That's going to be that built-in desk we'll get into that in about a minute, but I want to actually just show you what I think is very cool about this area. You see the cushions on the windows here? I think Coventry does this a lot in their plans, where they'll put like a bench seating area or something like that. I felt like that was a little bit small when I sat down on it, and then I looked around at the decor and I realized this room was not built for me, right? It's not built for an adult man. It was supposed to be small for a reason. It's for like a kid or something that you want to read on the windowsill. I think that was so cool. What a great area to have, something that's very unique that I don't see in a lot of builders' plans. And this would also be something that's unique, where we have this built-in desk area. Again, they called it a data area. All these built-ins, again, like I mentioned before, there are a lot of upgrades in this model hall, but I think that this is fantastic to have. So if you have kids, they need to do schoolwork, great place to have. Or if you want like a second study upstairs or something like that, that could be another area to kind of sit down and take care of some work. This is that area that Coventry's calling on their website a children's retreat, what I would call maybe a second game room area. There's some more bench seating along those windows, which I think is great. And I also just think this second game room area is fantastic. My wife and I have a 1-year-old daughter. She just turned 1, where she's starting to crawl. She's very close to walking, and I do love spending time with her. I will say, though, our game room is covered with toys. And so if you're a parent, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Your kids just kind of take over the game room area, and it's theirs. And so I think if you can kind of have 2 of these, and so they have kind of next to their bedroom their own play area, they can kind of keep toys around. You don't have to clean them maybe every few hours of every day to avoid like people tripping as they walk through this. This is kind of like their own section. So you see this bedroom here with a walk-in closet. There's another bedroom and a full bathroom here that we're going to get to. It's great to have their own designated area where they can keep this as messy as they want, but clean up every now and then, and it's not intrusive to kind of like other parts of the home. And I always say these new plans that are offered by builders, they're usually trying to solve a problem. And that's what I like about Coventry. I've seen in other plans where they are trying to solve things in their different plans. Like here they have the children's retreat area, a couple bedrooms, this full bathroom. In another plan, they offer like a workout area space where you can turn it into like a yoga room or put some workout equipment there. In another plan, I even saw an area for a prayer room, which I think is pretty unique. I haven't seen that in past years. And these are the types of touches that I like to see with builders, because they're listening to what buyers want and responding with different upgrade options in their plans. Now I say upgrade, but actually right now, what I'm seeing on the website for Coventry is all of these rooms are currently included in their base plan. Again, huge disclaimer, definitely double check that. These do change over time. But as I'm seeing right now, the media room, game room, children's retreat area that we just walked in, all 3 bedrooms with 2 full bathrooms. What I'm seeing in this community of Blackhawk, that's all included in the base plan. And that's great. If you're looking at base prices, be very careful. That's not including lot premium and upgrades. And look, some builders, your upgrades are typically going to be very high. With other builders, they're not going to be as high. And this can even vary from community to community. So there's not something that I can just summarize in one sentence. But what I can do is, if you do reach out to me, I can certainly walk through pricing with you, as well as go through the criteria for your home search and figure out what your best options are. And if your criteria is in a different city, or criteria that doesn't make sense working with me, I can connect you with one of my realtor partners. And before I let you go, if you want to see another model home walkthrough with Coventry, click on the thumbnail that's appeared on your screen. And as always, hope this helps. Take care.